Men need to address men. And I understand that Chaz was being a little phony, possibly disingenuous. But I'm not going to lie and say it was very nice to see a man step up and have a conversation with another man. I feel like that's very needed. Whether it was disingenuous or whatever it was, they can work that out between the two. But he saw a woman crying, whether those were fake tears, real tears. He saw a whole situation being escalated, whether it was alcohol involved or not, and he stepped in as a man to de-escalate. Isn't that what we want men to do?
No,
like, isn't that what we
no,
ask?
no, 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 no. Because what he should have done, man to man, is pulled him to the side and had a conversation. You don't check me in front of the girl that I'm talking to. You first of all don't know anything about that conversation. You came in late. So actually what you're doing is white knighting. See, if you are a man's man and you're around men, and as a lady you should pay attention to this, when you see a brother do this kind of stuff, you want to call something sassy? He's about to be sassy to you later on. Because really and truly, as a man, you should understand time and season. If I know Sean's having a conversation with, unless I know Sean personally, right? And even then, I'll be like, Sean, let me talk to you to the side. I'm not going to be like, can you not see your girlfriend is upset, bro? Can you not see she's also... No, you don't do that. You pull your brother to the side and you have a conversation with him, right? And you pull him to the side. That's how men operate. When men break protocol like that, I'm telling you, you'll find out later on how he really is. I'm not excited about what Chaz did, right? And ladies are looking and going, "Oh my God, we just want to see. It's not what we want to see. Men checking men. Yes, check them.
Not that
what
part.
Later
Not that
on.
part. Not that part.
Oh
okay,
yeah,
you're right. That part I do know. I do know what you're talking about. Yeah. That part I'm forgetting about. That part was white knightish, and that was kind of like a little bit Kienes Mas Macho there. I was more referring to the conversation on the side. I thought was really refreshing, and maybe he would have took it better if he didn't start with the white knight part. Because I don't see a lot of times in this show, in the history of this show, there's been very few times, despite the outrageous stuff men have done on this show, where we've ever seen a man come to the other man and be like, "Hey, you could have handled that a little better. I'm big bro. I spent a lot of my life trying to fight every battle, do everything, debate every point, and it got me nowhere." And I thought that was really refreshing to see, big bro to little bro, that conversation. But yes, the stuff at the table was a little white knightish, and I don't disagree about that at all.
And also, what it does is it invalidates, and this is why I was saying earlier on, that as a man, you are seeing another man trying to get his piece across, right? First of all, I don't think it was sassy. I personally don't think it was even that aggressive. Personally, it's my personal perspective. But anyway, they're having an argument, they're having a disagreement. Both people are a little bit, angst, and they're getting emotional at that point in time, right? And people are saying what they're saying, right? Now, I'm not going to say who's right, who's wrong. Both of them, for me, were wrong in certain aspects. He was wrong for going after Maya. It was a dark arts play. I'm not going to agree with it. I know what it looks like. They were both wrong for me personally, and I personally in how they operate, right? And I'm saying that when that happens, as if somebody was going to take control, if a lady's going to come in, she's going to pull a girl aside. If the gentleman's going to come in, she'll pull the guy aside. That's all. And then you settle it that way, right? Because what happens is when you come in and you take the other person's side, is you begin to invalidate the other person's opinion. First of all, and you don't want to do that, right? What you want to do is get the guy aside and say, "Hey, bro, let me talk to you, because guy to guy, you're going to hear what I've got to say." So that was all I was saying, because now we're getting into a part where we're saying, like, it's sassy. And it's like, how is it sassy if I argued with you? If I argue with you, how is it sassy that I argued with you? I find that infuriating, because it's like you're invalidating my point of view now, because if I argue with you, I disagree with you, I'm now sassy, which means now I have to keep my mouth shut. When in reality, all it is it's an argument. People get into arguments all the time. You're in a partner, are you going to call your partner sassy because they argued with you? You're gonna call them sassy because they disagreed with what you said, or they didn't agree with exactly what you said.
That's not why he's sassy.
I don't like that. I don't
like that. That's not why he's sassy.
That literally shuts down men, and this is why I was very angst about it. At that point, it shuts down men from actually expressing themselves, because as soon as they do, you sassy if you open your mouth, you sassy if you say this, and it's like both of them were wrong, and I've never said any of them were right. I never said this. I said both of them are wrong. But the moment you label him sassy, and I haven't labeled her masculine for saying what she said. No, you disagreed, and it's a disagree. It's a disagreement between two people, right? So I'm saying I can't agree with that. That's my standing on that particular part. You know what I mean?
That's not why he's sassy.
Check me, boo.
That's not why he's sassy. And I see his comments, and I hear you. That is not why he's sassy. The sassiness comes from the pettiness of it. The sassiness comes from the escalating the argument. You guys, he had a legitimate disagreement. He brought a legitimate point to her about why she was changing up on him. She proceeded to duck and dodge why she was changing up. He was like, look, your response is not really answering my question. Like, I'm asking you a question and you're not answering it. We're not at the sassy point yet. The sassy point begins when the argument is getting escalated. You proceed to get on dark arts, playing all the games with Maya, pretending like you don't know what's going on. That is very sassy because now you're escalating and being petty. And to me, being petty is a sassy way to be. Now, I don't know what's to debate about being petty is not sassy. Being petty is sassy as hell. I don't know what type of woman wants a man to be petty.
Okay, and so then here's when this. Oh, sorry, you haven't finished. I apologize.
I was gonna say, then on top of that, when everything is escalated, she's crying for what she's crying because now she's heated, she's upset. He like, I don't really care. I'm gonna walk off doing all this again, being petty. For me, when I see a man being petty, that's sassy as hell. The whole thing is sassy. So you can minimize it, not just you, Kojo, LaRon, or whoever else, to talk about men. As soon as they disagree, they're sassy. As soon as we debate, they're sassy. Hell no. If that's what you guys want to believe to sleep at night, that's fine. That is not why you're sassy. You're sassy when you start being petty. To me. And when you have the opportunity to de-escalate a conversation, to de-escalate an argument, and you proceed to go toe-to-toe. Because if you want to keep going toe-to-toe with a woman and then escalate the conversation, to me, that means you want to act like a woman. And that's when I'm going to call you sassy.
How is it toe-to-toe when we're having an argument? People say, listen, you're masculine. You disagree with me, you're masculine.
No, I'm
not. There you go. It's insulting to say that when you're disagreeing with me, to say you're masculine at that point, when you're just giving your point of view. You are having a point of view. You're emotional, I'm emotional in that moment, right? We're disagreeing, okay? All right, now, the thing that he did with Maya, I disagree with that. No one should be doing that. For me, that's manipulative. I'm going to call it as what it is. It's manipulative to do that, right? Because he knew exactly what he was doing and then tried to downplay it. The sassy part where it's annoying for me is because it becomes an insult. It's not about you describing an actual behavior. You're describing an insult. You're insulting the person. And what you're doing is you're actually checking his masculinity at that point in time. And that, for me, is frustrating because what that happens is, like I said, that shuts down men from having to express themselves. Because as soon as it doesn't fit your narrative, it's sassy. But what you were describing in this particular situation, right, of him, let's say, not controlling the conversation. He's sassy for not controlling the conversation. Well, is there every conversation that I've ever had or argument I've ever had with somebody where I'm always perfect in that situation? No. Sometimes I get a little bit irate. Sometimes I've raised my voice. Sometimes I've done a bit too much. But it happens, right? But the moment we do that and we start labeling it as sassy, it's the same thing when we talk about women and we say calling them masculine for the moment they disagree. It is an insult. It's not about you describing behavior at that point. It's now an insult. So that's what I'm saying. You're now questioning his masculinity. You're not actually describing the behavior. You're now trying to question the masculinity, and then it becomes an insult when you do that. And I hate that when women do that to men because it shuts down men from actually expressing themselves. It's an argument. It's a simple argument. And right now, someone can say to me, Coach, you're raising your voice. You're a little bit excited. You're sassy. And immediately what it is they want you to shut up. That's basically what you're doing. And it's actually not about the argument that's actually happening between two people. So I want people to be very careful about how they label people because it automatically goes into keeping someone's voice down. They were both wrong, and he was manipulative in what he did with that. The sassy word comes with a connotation culturally in terms of what it actually means and how it's oftentimes used. And that's why I'm having a problem with it a little bit as well in this situation. But, you know.
So you don't think you're making a false equivalence? I think you're making a false equivalence here. And this is the thing. When you said what you're equivalating, you're making the correlation that I'm saying he's sassy for disagreeing. That's the same way these people in your comments call me masculine for disagreeing with Sean or you. That is not what I'm doing. That would be the equal of what you're saying. People who call me masculine for disagreeing with you, which they do. That's like me calling you sassy because we're having this debate. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. What would make me masculine is if I get in your face and do this, like take it back to Zadia. I put my hand in your face, or I'm pretending like I'm knucking if you're bucking. That's when we have called women masculine in the past for doing all of that. Getting up like they're trying to fight like a man, you're masculine. The same thing is, again, he is not called sassy for arguing. He's not called sassy for having an opinion. He's not called sassy for expressing himself. He's called sassy for being petty. He's called sassy for intentionally escalating a conversation with a woman. So to me, if that is demasculating, then it is what it is. To me, that's just what it is. I don't feel like a man that I want to be with is escalating a conversation with a woman, being intentionally petty with a woman. If that's the type of man y'all okay with, y'all don't want to call him sassy, that won't be me. That's going to be sassy all day. You want to go toe-to-toe with a woman, escalating a conversation, it's sassy.
Can you describe which part you're saying is sassy? Sorry, just to make it very, very clear so we don't misinterpret what you're saying. Which part are you saying that you're saying which part? I want to make it very, very clear which part you're saying is sassy. So I know
exactly what you're saying. Two parts. When he did the thing with Maya, that you're calling petty, I'm calling petty and sassy. Part two, when she's sitting at the table crying, defeated at that point, even if you think she was fake